Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Army Cycling, not Army Cycling, sorry. We are at the, great start. We are at the Inter-Services eRACING Championship Open 26, so the open competition. Last week we had the females competition. This week is the open competition. Welcome to everyone that is joining the stream live tonight, and welcome to anyone that's joined it back later on to view the action later on. If you are in chat, please by all means say hello, drop a comment, let us know who you're cheering for tonight. Is it the Army, is it the Navy, or is it the RAF? So yeah, like I said, embarrassingly not the ACRS, it's the ISERC, so the Inter-Services eRACING Championship. Tonight we have 3 back-to-back races to determine the overall or the individual champion and the overall service champion. The way that it will be structured then, like I said, 3 back-to-back races. For the individual, the points will be tallied up across all 3 races. If they did all 3 races, they will score. Whoever's got the highest score at the end of that will be the crown the individual champion. For the inter-services then, it will be 4 riders per each service. Each service has a maximum of 10 riders they can put forward for the race. As you can see, it's quite a well populated field tonight. A lot of RAF jerseys, a lot of Army jerseys, and some Navy jerseys as well. Unfortunately, I think a few may have not got a jersey on, but that's fine. It's all good. So yeah, before though we start the race or talk about the race, we'll just talk about last week's female competition. So happy to show some of the results. Not all of them have come up, embarrassingly, but actually, if we go to has decided to take a moment, but for the female standings then, Rosie Wild won that one with 3 impressive back-to-back wins. Then we had Pippa Inderwick for second for the Army. We had then Chris Murray, Jess Wood, Catherine Robinson, Angela Laycock, Victoria Webb, Izzy Rawlinson, Hannah Sheen, and Emily Nielsen there, all round in the top 10 of 16 riders overall that represented both Army, Navy, and RAF. For the actual individual competition, the inter-services, the graphics like I said, decided to disappear, but the Army won for the females, with Navy second and RAF in third. So well done to all the females that raced last week. It was a really impressive race. So yeah, before we get into then the kind of race itself, hopefully this is going to work. He says, boom, okay, wrong race, wrong graphic though. So first race then is going to be the Flatland Loop, 1 lap of here. It's an individual time trial, so no draft, none of that magic. It's purely just riders riding themselves to get the fastest time. And that is basically how it's going to work for this one. It's around about 13 kilometers for this course. Predominantly flat with a little rise in the middle. Or say little rise, it goes up to 200 meters, and then we close down. Race is about to start, so we will move over to the event, and we'll talk about the other races in between. So off we go. So again, if you are in chat, please come and say hello. Let me know who you're cheering for. If you're racing, that'd be just as equally as good to know how you're doing. If you're not racing and all that jazz. So immediately then we've got George Jones coming out of the gate quite hard with B Moss with the Royal Navy, Jay Simpkins, Jay Breaks for the Royal Navy, and a Summerball for the RAF. Quite a strong start already. The field is relatively spread out. There will be potentially, you might see some purple graphics or purple dots on the course. So there is a support race on this tonight. With the support race, and they are basically doing exactly the same course. For race 1, because there's no draft and there's no kind of consequence of them, everyone's kind of started at the same time. For race 2 and 3, the private events, as in no rider should be interfering with anyone else and all that jazz. So so you may see, like for example, on, if I scroll down on here, you might see some purple riders on the list there. They are just purely other riders that have taken part just to be part of the support race, and nothing more with that really. So yeah, but as you can see then, so R Somerville, B Moss, Royal Navy, a little bit of a gap already, 1 second then between some of the other riders there. 3 Army jerseys, 4 actually if I include, I know that G Jones is in there, unfortunately wasn't able to get his Army jersey in time. But yeah, so already though we've got a few riders that are pushing the pace already up front. See if they can hold that on. And then there is some few little groups then of riders in the back, splitting across. We've got a few RAF riders there, Navy riders in like the 3rd group, just clawing themselves onto that group. And then like so we have, looks like Ed just joining onto that group as well. So yeah, like I said, this course is predominantly a kind of flattish course, with a kind of small rise at the back end with then a steep descent, with around about last 2 to 3 Ks to go. Riders at this point now, they'll probably be settling into a route, into a rhythm. This is kind of one of the nice things about this format that we're doing with 3 back-to-back races. It kind of, you know, it's like, what are the riders' strengths in? If they're an individual, if they are good at ITT and they're just good at being a diesel, sounds awesome. But they're gonna manage themselves throughout the rest of the races as well, being very aware of what's coming up, what courses, what kind of, yeah, what they have coming up essentially in a nutshell. So it will be one for sure to look out for. By all means, guys, like I said, if you are here and you are in the chat, please come and say hello. Drop a comment. Let me know if you're watching, who you're cheering on. I'm assuming we still got something on. Yeah, it'd be embarrassing if I was talking away and there was no one watching. But yeah, so we've got a bit of a string out now. 3 riders, 1 from Royal Navy, 1 from the RAF, and 1 from the Army there, and all in the kind of improved spots, which is a good start. Mike Goff there in 4th. Obviously, experience with Mike being a strong rider within the Army Cycling E-Race series. Always up the front, always kind of, yeah, causing some headaches for the other riders. One of them, funny enough, being Johnny Simpkins there. Yeah, yeah, he's always been quite, yeah, amused by Mike's races. Then we got G Waystall there for the from the RAF. We'll just try and get some of the right names in. Apologies, I don't want to butcher a name, so I'm trying to get them all right. Is that Scorer? Yep. So Tom Scorer for the Royal Navy. We've got Beauchamps for the from the RAF with T Robinson. Craig Scott with George Jones. T Hinchcliffe for Royal Navy. Mike, 13th, R Blizzard, Royal Engine for the Army, B Stewart, Constant, got their Hawks, possibly. H Hanson, Harry Nansen, one of the Army Road Development team, I believe. B Jones, But yeah, so quite a spread of the field at the moment. Around about, if we were to try and get to the top, which we can't, give you a rough idea what the kind of gap is between the front to the rear. But Ed has now pushed onto the front. That diesel engine powering through. Looking roughly then, number wise anyway, so we've got two, so one of each there, then we've got another army and another RAF with another army, and then we've got navy, and then a few RAFs, and then another army there. So it's going to be quite close, I think, for the scoring, at least following race one. Seeing what the two army riders can do, potentially close that gap with, or at least close into T. Robinson there. Will be interesting to see for sure. Because this is potentially where races could be won or lost. Yes, or as in at least for the team event. Because agreed or granted that individual, these top riders will be doing strong, are going to be scoring high. But when you start looking at the third and fourth place riders, they are the ones that actually will score well, or be the kind of decision point for whether or not, which team trumps the other team. Because the teams in between, so the riders in between will still score points, and therefore they will take the points away from the other riders, if you understand what I mean. So therefore, even if, let's say, RAF 5th place and 6th place rider, they won't score towards the team, but they still score well individual, and them scores will be taken off of anyone that's sat behind them. So if a 4th place rider, the army, for example, are, in actual 8th place overall, and therefore, two RAF riders who are 5th and 6th, the RAF, therefore, there's that kind of risk that you've got there, that potentially other riders, just because they may not be scoring in the top 4 for their services, doesn't mean they won't score, or they won't still play a factor in the race itself, and therefore potentially they still will be doing the team game by purely by being in a good position that could prevent other services from scoring. So it's definitely one to look out for. And we've just seen there that Mike Goff has now just worked his way to the front. Oh, sorry, to second place. Just taken past B. Moss and R. Somerville. Mike Goff, I know from experience, is definitely good on the old climbs. Bethany Shakespeare, good luck. Gareth Davis, G. Davis. Oh, we've got a few Gareth Davis fans in the chat. Let's see if I can find you, if he's there. Where is he? Round about 17th. Let's see if we can find him. Who's he riding for? RAF. Let's see if we can find him for you. Gaz Davis. There we go. Oh, no. Nearly. There you go. Gaz Davis, for those that were in chat and cheering him on. There you go. Pushing some good numbers. 4.7 watts per kilo. Some disgusting numbers there for sure. So, yeah, you keep going, Gaz. So working our way back through to the front then. Simpkins there with G. Waystall from the RAF and the Army. Just one second out from T. Scorer from the Royal Navy. Mike Goff now has started to create a gap between the Navy Barry Moss and Rich Somerville. All state normal. Obviously, ITTs aren't exactly the most sexiest thing to commentate on because, yeah, there's not really much in regards to tactics on these kind of on TTTs. It's just the individual, the bike, and off they go. So, for sure, you know, it's going to be a not a dry first part of the stage because it still will have a big effect on the whole series on the championship. But yeah, once we get to race 2, race 2 is definitely probably going to be the most explosive of all of them. I'm pretty sure on that. And then race 3 being a hill climb would be again just watching the riders, seeing if anyone's who's gone early, who's taken too much out of the tank, etc., and especially the hill climb, especially after what they've had to go through up until this point. 100%. Them legs will be tired when it comes to that climb, which we will talk about in once we get there. But yeah, Ed's there just powering along currently quite nicely. I say quite nicely at 5 watts per kilograms, but yeah. Climb really kind of tops off at the round about the 10 kilometer, between 10 and 11 kilometers mark. That's where the climb really kind of this course really comes to an end, and then it is predominantly a descent from there. In fact, me and the Wednesday Army Cycling Wednesday social ride, sports afternoon social ride that happened at 13:45 today, we actually rode this course, just in case anyone was racing or doing the support race today, just to get a bit of a feel of what this course was like. We managed to finish it around about 30 minutes for one lap. So some of these riders will definitely be finishing probably in the next 6 minutes, I reckon, and maybe even sooner, depending on the rate they're going. And that's the other kind of jeopardy as well with this race is, is to get to the finish before the race, before obviously the kind of 30 minutes are up. There's a 30-minute gap between each race. Now I did trial these routes, and speed, distance, time, and all that good stuff, and riding the routes and to figure out what the crack, how long it would need to take. So should be roughly finishing with a good time. Obviously, those that finish first or those that finish quicker will get the added benefit of having a longer rest. Unfortunately, some of the riders that don't are a bit further down will obviously have less time to recover, and therefore, could find themselves coming straight into race 2 still fatigued. But yeah, the riders now seem to be, though, definitely in their kind of in their setting their pace, going along with what they're comfortable with. Hopefully, we should be able to provide you some form of live results in regards to individual and the service championship once race 1 is done. Takes about 5-10 minutes after the race is completed before I can pull the data, but so we should be able to at least tell you and let you know how people have fared. Do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 riders that are in the support race as well. No, 6 riders in fact that are in the support race, which is cool to see. Yeah. So just to give you kind of idea, there's around about 20 riders, 25 riders in the actual inter-services pen. Everyone else will be in the E-pen. So when it actually comes to the second race, the inter-services pen will be going a bit faster, and therefore, just feel for those support racers that have got a smaller group to work with. They're almost practically going to be doing 3 individual time trials. for the next 3 races. So yeah, there we go. We're over that kind of the hill now anyway. And pretty much it is that descent now, as you can see, with Ed just working his way down now, and the actual banner is not that far away now, only about a K and a bit to go. And it will be finishing quite comfortably within 20 minutes. A really diesel engine Ed has there. Mike Goff in second now, with Rich Somerville in third for the RAF. Barry Moss currently sitting in fourth. As we get in there, Ed just coming through the line now. Finish line for Ed. Coming through, taking first place, 17:28 there. Goff coming in just over 17:30. Rich Somerville managed to claw a couple of seconds there. Seconds, say unfortunately, but seconds won't count. This is all based off points. This championship this year. T-scorer there coming through fifth. So we had, what was that? 2 Army, an RAF, 2 Navy, third place. Sixth. So the third race rider for the Army coming through the line now, and then we've got the third place for the second place for the RAF. I believe third place for the RAF, and then George Jones from the Army. C. Robinson just coming down, catching him up. And through he goes. And a lot of these riders now coming through. Craig Scott, bringing it through at 18:39. Oh, John Grimsdale, one of the support riders. Well done to John. T. Hinchcliffe there, getting the flame socks on the go. That's a flex of length of time on Zwift when you've got the flame socks. Blizzard coming through. Army, Mike Latchin with Ben Jones, Harry Hansen. There's a nice big group of riders there. B Savage, G Davis. There you go. Gareth Davis coming through. All under 20 minutes so far. Jay Breeks. G Cummins for Royal Navy. Another Royal Navy rider just coming up with Brow. So they are just... No, sorry, they're on the descent now. Working their way through. Matt Whitaker. He's in one of the support races. Yeah, I actually raced with Matt yesterday for the dirt race series. We had a good, successful in our gold league. Nice team victory there. Good teamwork. M for Royal Navy, and then Tom Dobson coming round. There we go. So once Tom crosses the line, that will be everyone through with quite a bit of time to spare. Kane, if you're in chat, come and say hello. We had some Gareth Davies fans in. Come and say hello. Drop a comment. Who are you cheering for? Are you Army, Navy, Royal Air Force? Who are you here for? What flag are you waving? All that good stuff, please. It'll be lovely just to get a bit of flow conversation and chat. You've let me suffer for the first almost 30 minutes on my own, really. So come on, help me out. As you just were catching Tom Dobson there coming through. Hi, hey Matt. Thank you, and you're riding as well. So hey, here you go. If someone that's riding or taking part in the support race can say hello, sure other people can as well. Right. Hopefully I should be able to jump over into the new pen soon. If it'll let go back to me, which it won't right now. Come on. Cheering on Simpkins. Abigail Barnes. Good. Right, hopefully, join the event. There we go. Where are we going? Race 2. Good. Cool, cool. Great to see that we've got some people cheering some riders on, though. Right, good, good. Just sorry while I'm not talking, I am just getting all the IT stuff sorted in the background, so please bear with. Wonderful, right. Okay, riders are jumping in. So what we got? 5 minutes to go. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. That's pick. Good. Right, okay. So let's talk about race 2 then. I've just done a little bit of work there to get things done. So race 2. Just let me bring up. That one will come through. Get rid of you. Race 2 then. So the Dun Dash. So essentially then we are in the we're in Scotland. Okay, we've got a few key features being in and around. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse. There we go. We've got the few little climbs, little punchy climbs here, and with the breakaway bray. The real key one is the Clyde kick. No, sorry, that's the Clyde kicker. That's the breakaway bray, and that one, for the love of God, I cannot remember what it's called. Why is that? Because I am having a moment. But anyway, essentially, this is where the race finishes, on the top of this little cheeky climb. Okay, at the end there. So, and as you can see by the profile, it's quite lumpy with punches and everything in there as well. So it's definitely going to be a little cheeky race. See what riders are going to do. Are some riders going to try and attack kind of the early stages, try and break away? Or potentially are people going to be saving all their matches just to go for a strong 2 to 3 kilometer effort all the way up to the top and around about a 12k, sorry, just over 12Ks to the finish line. So we'll see what happens with that, though. Should be an interesting one for sure. Yes, right. Boom. There we go. Results 26. Have we got all 26 in? Looks like we do. Okay, let's give it a go, shall we? All right. Where are we? Where are we? Nice. Very good. Cool, right. It's a good start. All right. Where are you though? It's one raw. Cool. Swift tools. Process. Hopefully this will work. Oh no, I don't want to do that. Just bear with. Sorry, I'm just seeing. Hopefully, I can get the results up for you. Nice, right? I think I've done it. Let's just see if I go boom and boom. No, of course not. So let's refresh and refresh. Boom, there we go. Look at that, just by magic. So there we go. We have currently then, so yeah, Ed leading with Mike in second, Richard in third for the RAF, Barry fourth, Johnny Simpkins in fifth, George in sixth, Matthew in seventh, another George in eighth, and Craig in 10th. How that leads for the actual inter-services currently, and I want to stress, this is provisional. Okay, so there's a few things that needs to happen before we can actually go official. Provisionally, though, Army 108, RAF 99, and Navy 80. It's close. I think that's safe to say, really. Only 9 points separating first and second currently. Quick maths. So, yes, it is all to play for. And even with the Navy there at 80, that's still only, quick maths, 28 points. So still all to ride for going into this second race. And like I said, it's going to be a humdinger, I am sure. I'm excited for this one. Let's see what the riders decide to do and how they play it. Good luck to the riders, and off we go. Strong start by everyone there. Yep, good start by everyone. So we got some Gareth Davis fans, Jay Simpkins, Johnny Simpkins fans. Anyone else? Who else we cheering on for today? Everyone, though, looks like they're all together at the moment. No one's doing anything. Everyone's together. Apart from, unfortunately, one rider that is 11 seconds down, maybe a technical or something, potentially. But A good start. So it should be going into, I believe, into Glasgow kind of course itself to start with. So first kind of point of attack will be the Clyde kicker. Which is where we potentially will see some riders. Oh, one's already kind of gone off the front there. T scorer. What are you making? 2 seconds on the group? If I can find you. Where are you? Where are you, T? There you go. Up the front there. What we're going to do now, we go picture in picture. Hopefully we'll bring up second screen. Boom. There we go. So yeah, and here we go. Eds and a few of the army riders now have responded, trying to close that gap already. Yeah. So as we're going into then the into Glasgow, we've got the kick out coming up. A few riders already then have started to break away. We've got realise we want to probably be using this one for now. So yeah, there is a small gap. The elastic is kind of going. Got a second here between this group of riders here around about the 8th and 9th place spot, and then a few more riders just, but I think there might be just enough. However, we're going kind of the reverse end of Glasgow, and the kickers on this side can be quite attritional, so it'll be interesting to see. But you can see here it's really strung out already. A very set an early pace for sure. But it looks like for the most part everyone is kind of together. We may have a few that's just dropping out of the back. No. Pete Tom Dobson may have just dropped out the back there. Excuse me. Funny hell. Coming to spring and I've got a horrible cold. We've got another rider that's just gone off the front. Okay, Johnston. So this part of the course, anyway, what they've got this small descent and that. What they really need to do, what's quite key, is to carry this speed that they may build on this kind of like just small downhill. And as you can see on the graphic there, with that kind of punchy climb, really need to be ready to attack this climb hard. It's small, but it's enough to hurt the legs. And if you're not putting enough power in, potentially getting dropped out of the back. As I say, it's quite early on to be dropped out, but here we go. Few orange numbers. We've got G Davis there just pushing on the front, has gone over to the front of the lead of the group. Was that Gareth? Is it? Is Gareth at the front? There you go. Then Moss is pushing past. Got Jules Jones just sat in there. And again, this kind of little rolling section is another opportunity. And then it's a sharp descent before then the kind of climb, it's before another punchy climb. This one's slightly longer. So the key again, carry that speed through to allow themselves get over this climb. It's all about speed. And up we go. You can see here, just up we go. You see most of the group of the riders is still here. A few riders potentially have dropped out the back, but we're, for the most part, we're here. There we go. Right, you just need to carry it over. Don't ease off. T Hinchcliffe there has put in some orange numbers, has created a gap. Probably using the descent now as an opportunity to maybe cause a bit more of a gap with that group. However, speed seems to be the key when it comes to pack size, and therefore, if T Hinchcliffe, sorry, if I keep butchering names, is it Hinchcliffe? Cliff, yeah, Hinchcliffe. If he hopes to keep away, he really needs to keep that pedal, keep banging on them pedals. Mike Goff is responding. He's leading the kind of the trailer riders. May want to be careful though that he isn't necessarily helping other riders by doing all the work. 2 seconds so far. We're 5 kilometers in. We've got about 7 kilometers left to go. So there we go. Still, majority of the riders are in. There's a few now that are just hanging out the back, just holding on, but they're there. And it seems like the pack slowed down. They're all together. Cool. Good stuff. Really exciting so far. Some interesting moves, especially from the Navy. They're definitely the ones that seem to be trying to entertain this race slightly. Not saying it's a boring race, but like just trying to do something. Maybe trying to just keep the making sure the legs are tired. Potentially they've got some good climbers, some good punchy climbers in this group that maybe is where they're planning on doing, is using them punchers on the last part of the course. We're going for the most part. Everyone's together. Who are we watching now? Is that Jones, Ben Jones? 184 beats per minute. Definitely in the red. The other riders, though, sat nice and comfortable. But this will be the chance for some of them riders that are just holding on now, just to try and get some water on, have a breather, try and get that heart rate back down. Get the lungs working. Nine minutes in. 6 gone. Around about 6 to go. About halfway. Who's enjoying this race so far? Let us know in the chat. We've got the breakaway break coming up next. Another punchy part of the course. So yeah, we are just coming up again. There is a little bit of a dip. Peak riders maybe need to just hopefully just carry some speed down this little bit of a dip, and then as you can see on the graphic now, boom, up we go, up we go. And then we have this switchback, which then has a nice little cheeky part in it. Oh. Is that you, Matt Dunn? I'm not watching the E's at the moment. There we go. We've got one rider at the front. Pushing on. Another Royal Navy rider. I think the most combative team so far would definitely have to be the Navy for this. Praise Scott. Holding on to that wheel. Possibly helping the Army just to lead in and make sure that the punchers are getting that rest, but he's now carried that over. So we're looking behind. We're okay. Johnny Simpkins pushing on, climbing over, has gone for an attack. Again, this is greeted by a quick descent again, so it's quite key that he that they carry that speed. But we've got Ed that seems to be trying to latch on as well. 9.1 watts per kilo. He's created a gap. So what do the other riders do? We've got 2 Army riders now that are kind of at the front. 3 seconds. Look at the speed, 51 versus 60. So the speed is on the two at the front at the moment. They need to potentially work. There's another little climb. We have got one rider that's pushing on through the front. Summer Bell. Mike Goff there. I just saw some orange numbers. I'm going to see what the other riders do now. So this is another little cheeky part of the climb. They really need to dig in deep, these riders. 178, 187. So these Johnny and Ed will be definitely kind of, they're in that red at the moment, but they really need to attack this hard because the speed of this group coming on, if they don't continue working, they will catch them on. And there's not that long now until we actually get to the base of the climb. And they've got 3 seconds now. So these two riders at the front, they need to ask themselves, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? There have been splits, though. We've got some splits through this group. So yeah, we've got a split here. And then we've got a few riders at the front. So still got these two riders in front. There are 3 seconds. Another climbing section coming up, but the pack is starting to spread out now. But we've got 1, 2, 3 army riders. We've got quite a handful of Navy and RAF riders. So at the front, they've got to be asking themselves now, what are we going to do? And I think the decision, even though they're still pushing some really disgusting numbers, 1 second, potentially it might be worth calling it. Cheers, Ray. Thank you. Come on, the army. It might be worth now, these potentially, but we've got Mike Goff now that's slingshotted his way over. Maybe this was all part of the plan. Maybe that was the army's plan, was to allow Mike a chance to then get on ahead. And that's what he's done. 1 second now. If I was potentially the other army riders now, you know, you could potentially be a sticky will. What that is being maybe in front, but not pushing the watts to match or to catch the rider in front. And therefore, the riders behind need to actually have to work harder to get round the avatar to then get on the on at the riders. But currently we're now talking, what's that, 7 seconds there with Mike Goff. 6 seconds to Ed. He's on 2 seconds from someone from the Royal Navy. Can't get your name currently. Not got anyone yet at the moment. Tom Scorer. Somerville moving on. I mentioned though that even though there may be 2 army riders up front, it's also everyone that's behind that still counts. 4 riders count for the for each services. So therefore, some other riders will still need to put the work in because it's definitely not over. Mike Goff now, 9 seconds on Ed. There's a further 4 seconds from then this chasing pack. We can get on the graphic, on the other one. So not Ed. So yeah, our Somerville, right, good. Mike's now getting to the base of the climb. This is it. We're last kind of 2 kilometers to go now. What are the riders got? So we're just kind of watching that chasing pack currently. Somerville, Johnny Simpkins, C. Robinson, Bear Moss, T. Scorer. So we've got what? 2 Army, 2 RAF and 2 Navy in this chasing pack. Trying to then catch on to the 2 army riders that are at the front. Somerville now bridging the gap to Ed. Seems to be managed to close the gap. 2 seconds. BMOS. for the Navy with T-Scorer for another Navy rider. They've got Simpkins and George Jones. Total fear of missing out. Army's got this. Yeah, they're doing well. But it's close. We'll see on the scores there. 108 to 99. There's only 9 points difference currently, and we've still got the hardest course to come yet. But it seems that anyway, we've got our Somerville with Ed. And they're closing in. Our Somerville is closing in. 7 seconds, 6 seconds. The finish is just here. 5 seconds. RAF is definitely, our Somerville has really closed this gap. It was almost, and almost, is he actually going to catch Mike? I don't think so. I think Mike's done enough, but 2 seconds. He's got some orange numbers just to be sure. But yeah, there we go. That was very close. Our Somerville just shot up that climb. Potentially, had he managed to keep with Mike, he would have definitely given Mike a run for his money up that climb, I think, looking at that. But then we've got T. Robinson. I'm just trying to catch back. Scorer there. Army Rider. I want to say that is Johnny Simpkins, T. Cross, George Jones. We've got Waysall coming through now. Johnston, Beauchamps, Craig Scott. I think I just called Craig Scott. Blizzard, Stewart, Hinchcliffe. Just coming up to the top now. Savage. Just working his way through. Gareth Davis, for the Gareth Davis fans in the group. He's just nearly on the last couple hundred metres to the finish. But really, what an explosive finish there. That was, that nearly was an RAF win with that chase right down at the end there. Really, Rich Somerville come from nowhere and closed a 13-second gap. 10 seconds there. So very close, but what a race that one was. Potential good team tactics. I don't know if that was the Army's intent, was to send some up riders up front, let some people chase them down, and then once the call was made, to then slingshot round with Mike potentially. If that was well played, it was good. And it was equally, though, it was good to see that Ed and Johnny, those two that did attack at the breakaway break, were still able to keep that gap. And yeah, what a good race that was. Right, that's time to do some IT stuff. Join event. How do I get back to me on this one? What we'll do while I'm fanning around with that one, you don't want to watch me see what I'm doing on that. What we got, 9 seconds. Nine minutes, sorry, not 9 seconds. I should be panicking if it was 9. Good. We're in. Good. Just bear with me, team, while I get all the riders on and viewing. Good. Right then, let's just get my... I need just to do a few more things. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. Did anyone go outside today? There's semi-decent weather. Well, we've got 6 minutes. So just let me do some stuff. I just think I might need to update race number 1. Race number 2 as well, or at least get an understanding. Let's see if race 2 is in or not. Sprint race. We got some riders are in. We'll just give it a moment. We will run it. We'll run it. And we'll run it again in a little bit. Okay, so let's go to the final of this series. What we got? 6 minutes to go. So while that's doing all that, let's talk about this one then. Boom. Okay, there you go. Not much really to say about this one apart from it's a honking climb in the end of it. So they can actually start off on a flat bit, get a chance to loose their legs, following what an effort they've just had to go put themselves through, and then bang, they are up a climb for what we're talking 3 to 7, so about 4 kilometer climb. And I make it sound like it's just a 4 kilometer climb, but if we scroll down, no, not that. If we scroll down there, you can see that we are going around 11, 10% gradients for the most part until they get 318 meters up, and then boom, that's the finish line is at the top. They're not doing the descent. They are just going all the way up to the top. So fingers crossed for them that the race treats them well. But yeah, that's where we got, or that's what we got coming up. So yeah, right, just give me a second and process some results, see if we've got what we've got coming up or what we've got. So currently for race 2, we currently only have the top 13 riders. We got Army, RAF, Navy, still missing a couple of Navy riders. So potentially what I'm about to do won't be a true reflection yet. So let me just refresh again. I want to try and get exactly what we got. 4 minutes to go. So I'm going to see if I can get these results for the start of the race, or at least a provisional provisional results up and running, so we have an understanding what's at stake. No, still currently only got the riders have come through, they've just not been filtered yet. Okay, that's fine. All right, we will run it anyway then. So process and services, and then we will go generate ISERC. Okay, send to public. Okay, let's see what we've got. We will need to update this again because this won't be the we're still waiting on a few other riders to come through, but that's how we're looking currently. Then going into the final race, Mike and Ed first and second, only a point between them, with though Richard sorry Richard, I know I'm probably butchering Summerbell, I will get that, in third place only though, 2 points covering the top 3 riders. Barry Moss for the Navy in 4th, Johnny Simpkins in 5th for the Army, Craig Robinson and George Wheatstall for the RAF, George Jones in 8th for the Army, Matthew Beauchamp for the RAF in 9th, and Kieran Johnson for the Navy in 10th. A few other riders yet haven't actually, their standings haven't yet counted yet because Swift Power hasn't updated, but that's where we're looking currently. If I refresh now, we've got race 2. Is that race 2? That is race 2. Everyone's coming now. So just give me a moment. We will update this so that we have a good, true reflection of the full standings with the actual services themselves. Once that's done, we will update again. But as it stands, as you can see anyway, as it stands, it's Army with 216, RAF with 199, Navy with 127. But I know there's a few Navy riders that have not yet been counted for. So once we update the sheet, we should be in a better spot. Good. 40 seconds to go. Right, who we're cheering on? In chat, let us know. Do we think that the Army can win this one, or do we think that potentially the RAF can upset on the last race, and will the Navy even potentially surprise with a commanding finish? Right. So what we got? So off we go. Like I said, this is going to be a flat. Start with. Refresh. Right, there we go. So yeah, 216 for the Army, 199 for the RAF, and 158 provisional results currently as we go into the final race. Unfortunately, probably by the time the stream ends, I won't be able to get any anything finalised. It may struggle to get a provisional, but we have a rough idea of, at least when it comes to the individual competition, where the 3 riders are in for, which would be Mike, Ed and Richard, Army and RAF. Regards to the services competition, 216 and 199, so we are talking a score of 17 points difference between the RAF and the Army. So we might be able to do a quick count back when the race finishes, potentially to get an understanding of what the provisional results would look like before then going into that before ending the stream. But we'll see how it looks as we move through the race. So yeah, steady start. No one doing anything funky. Last week with the female competition, we had Rosie Wild and Jess Ward flying off the front very, very early on this flat section. Almost pretty much did a TT effort all the way to the base of the climb, and that's when Rosie then kept maintaining that diesel engine she's got to all the way to the finish line. So yeah, and then it was kind of back and forth between second and third of the Army riders, Jess, and I think it was Pippa, where Jess was managed to keep it. No, and Chris Murray got involved as well, where that kind of finished though with Jess maintaining that second spot. But it was definitely, even regardless though it's a climb, and obviously this is almost down to an individual, it was still quite an interesting race to observe and seeing kind of how along the drag of the road, how it all went. So yeah. Definitely interesting to see how that the individual competition goes. Somerville with that crazy 10-second gap he managed to close down on Mike Goff. Definitely is one to look out for sure, going up to the going up this climb. Oh, excuse me. Oh. Um, so yeah, here we go. So I'm just doing some bits in the background here, just bear with. Yeah. Got a few riders just drilling the front a bit. Royal Navy again. Definitely, could put Royal Navy up there as most combatant on the first race. Oh, sorry, second race. They were definitely trying to do some stuff early on. Two RAF riders, kind of in this little group of four at the moment, just pushing off the front. One Navy, two RAF, and Mike Goff from the Army. Seems though that some other riders are in.
Can you hear me, Ozzy?
I can, Ray. I can. Welcome.
Oh, awesome. I just thought I'd jump in for the last one and help you out there.
Thank
No
you.
awkward silences.
Yeah. No more awkward silences while I'm trying to do many things at once. No, good to have you on, everyone. Hang on, let's just make sure that you actually say something, Ray.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, no, I'm just checking that Discord is picking up the Discord. Yep. So everyone, welcome to Ray. He is one of my kind of co-commentators when we are the time allows it. And yeah, he's joined us today just to help me finish this one off with. So you've got not just my boring tones, but you've got Ray's as well to enjoy for probably the next 30 minutes or so. So yeah, how are you doing, Ray? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah. Like I said in the chat, I've got a bit of fear of missing out. I would love to have been racing this one.
Yeah,
but it's because I raced it last year. It was always a tough competition, 3 off the back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. No, agreed, 100%. It's kind of there really to kind of tie them legs out throughout, and even though it might be shorter distances and stuff like that, but because they're more intense, them races, because they are so short, you still kind of do get that fatigue creeping up, especially like as the stages progress. And then like for this year, where we've thrown in this nice cheeky climb at the end, it really is going to be a test of endurance for the legs for this one.
Well, they can't say they're not warmed up for the climb. There's nothing worse than going into the climb cold, is there? So
yeah, exactly.
At least on this, yeah. But by the looks of it, because they've already done 2 races, I don't think anyone wants to do any long range attacks just yet. They're quite happy doing a group ride at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, no, you're right. There's, for the most part, everyone is together as they started. So yeah, I think some riders will just be praying for this part not to come around as quickly as it has. We're just under 9 minutes, and they're now going to start at the base of the grade. Oh, look at that graphic.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So what's kind of different as well is obviously individual Zwift settings. So while yours has come up completely red, I'm having a look at Mike Goff, and if you click on Mike Goff, you'll see that he's changed his graphic so that it doesn't show it unless it goes over a certain percentage. So on his, it's all yellow.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
one of those weird settings that people don't want to know.
Maybe that's why he does so well, because he doesn't.
Oh, it's changed back. It's changed back now. I've clicked on it.
Oh, good. I was going to say.
But just as we mentioned him, he's on the front.
Yeah, there he goes, Mike, doing what Mike does.
Closely followed by Ed CW, though.
Yeah. We've just got the, let's do this so we can just see from the back there a few of the other riders. So we've got a small group, a group of riders. Well, it's all stringing out anyway. I say it's a group of riders, but it's already started to string out, and we're within like the first kilometers of this climb already, and we've kind of got this string already of riders all down the grade. But we've got our Somerville. I'm not say you was watching the last race, so you must have seen the surge that he put on at the end there. We nearly actually caught Mike for the finish, 2 seconds in the end. So definitely one to look out for. Somerville for the RAF to see what he can do. And this is actually, interestingly, this is first, second, and third in the standings as well, as they are. So we'll see what the army do, as 2 riders are first and second currently. Are they going to race each other up here and potentially, burn the matches and therefore give Somerville that win, or are they going to talk it out and decide who's going to take the glory? Because essentially, that's kind of it really. Ed won race 1, Mike won race 2. If Ed wins this and Mike, even though they would be scored tied on points, Ed would win on countback. So but then equally, if the 2 riders up front end up burning themselves out and Rich Somerville wins, then there's a good chance that actually he can jump them both, depending on when they finish, both Ed and Mike, for that last spot.
Yeah, so is it do they go for team glory or individual glory? That's the big question between them, isn't it?
Exactly that. Yes, that's exactly what my thoughts are. Is are they gonna yeah, ride as a team, or are they gonna ride individually? And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. And for those that are kind of unfamiliar with the grade, it was brought in a couple of years ago, and it is kind of Zwift's unofficial FTP test as well. So when they cross the banner at the top, they might get a new number.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. That's yeah, you're right there. This is I've done this a couple of times now, and yeah, it's definitely one for the legs for sure. But they do have a little break in the middle. As you can see on the graphics, there is a blue part. So there is that break where they can get a quick breather if they choose, or they may continue to push on. But as you can see, with the two of them anyway, with at least with Ed and Mike, they're kind of just riding together at the moment. I'm not sure if that's intentional or what, but and Ed seems to have just pushing on slightly now through that section as they're coming up to the flat part now.
His body's all over the road on this one, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
because there's no draft at this kind of angle. It's just on watts per kilo. You've just got to put your head down and grizz it out.
exactly that. Yeah, and I think the only kind of there may not be any draft, but there's definitely carrots in front. So yeah, you will find that potentially if you're looking at the numbers, seeing what the riders are putting out in front of you, the watts per kilo, and that you may find that actually I can possibly catch that rider. They seem to be dropping, and I'm catching them. So maybe no draft, but definitely a carrot. That's for sure on these kind of climbs, or the reverse of that.
And it looks like Mike and Ed crested that first part of the climb to the flap at 14 seconds ahead of Rich Somerville.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a tough ask, but he did claw, like you said, he clawed 10 seconds back on the last race. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
It looks like now Ed's got a 2-second gap on Mike.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, 100%. If I just switch over. So yeah, Ed's now 2 seconds, 3 seconds actually on Mike, and has already started the second part of the climb, the kind of final curves in. And yeah, and Rich Somerville is just 14 seconds. But like I say, Ranch, Somerville's an unknown to me, so we don't know. He might be able to leave it until the final 500 meters, maybe a little bit more, and just really put the hammer down and close that gap potentially. Or Somerville could be more of a puncher climber, and that's where he excelled so much on the other final stages of the last race as well, potentially.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. Still 5.8k to go this. So it's not over yet.
No, for sure. Agreed. But yeah, looking down the field though, we've got quite a few riders now that have actually kind of on the flat section now. At least the top almost 20 riders now just coming to the crest of that first climb now onto that flatter section. So all riders are really kind of putting the work in and getting up and over this fairly quickly for what it is anyway. So yeah, really good stuff. And at least the top 15 riders have started the ascent up the second part of this climb. We've got a group of riders round about 10th, 11th spot actually. We've got George Jones, Stewart from the RAF, was that Robson from the RAF, Jones from the RAF as well, and Blizzard from the Army that are actually in this kind of little pack of four to five riders here, kind of working around together. And actually, if we go up a little bit further up, we also have B Moss, Johnny Simpkins, Beauchamps from RAF, as well in a group of three around fourth and sixth spot. So definitely could potentially be some shakers with regards to the individual competition, as well as potentially the service competition as well, with these kind of with these small little packs that are around. Potentially though, they want to be careful they don't race each other too hard. Potentially give opportunity for riders behind to claw back that are just going at a steady state.
Yeah, seems to be. It is tough when you get in a little group like this because you kind of don't want to work together because you know they're all competing against you. You just want to ride away, but at the same time, your legs are screaming.
Yeah, and doing so could could in fact send you backwards. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, but looking at it, so it looks like kind of two army up front, followed by one RAF, followed by Barry Moss as the first Navy rider in fourth currently.
yeah,
Um, so it's not a complete whitewash by the army out front, right? We're still mixing it up with the other services.
no, agreed. Yeah, I think though I'm just going. Oh, no, that's me going. Yeah, all the way to the last rider now. So yeah, we've got all riders now are on that second. No, actually, all but one are on the second part of the climb now. So everyone has already kind of majority of riders now have done that. The hardest part of this, well, not the hardest part, but at least half of it anyway. And now just cruising it for the end. Just working our way back up. So we've still got the Moss, Beauchamp, and Simpkins trio, fourth to sixth, and we've got another duo of from Royal Navy, just in seventh and eighth there as well. So Navy are we've got two RAFs, and three Navy currently, four Navy. So Navy could be clawing some points back, for sure, because they seem to be having more of the numbers in the top 10 in comparison to the RAF anyway. And equally, our the next Army rider, I believe, is down in an 11th place with George Jones, with a few RAF riders just 5 seconds behind. So potentially, George Jones could be the person that actually decides the standings, depending on how he scores, because there is quite a few other so a few RAF and Royal Navy riders that are between Johnny Simpkins in fourth currently and George Jones down in 11th at the moment. So it's definitely not guaranteed for Army either to actually win this, and it could be very close depending on how the rest of the riders are placed themselves.
It could be, but I think one question's been answered while you've been looking at the other riders is Mike Goff and Ed CW are not working together, and Ed has pushed out a 31-second gap between the two of them. So he wants the title. He wants the individual title by the looks of it.
He does, and like I said, I believe on countback that will be Ed's win for the actual service competition. I believe on countback. Which I'm sure Mike will be okay with. And as we're looking at Ed right now, he is just coming up to the last kind of bend really in the road before he actually finishes. Smashed it in in nearly 20 minutes, from not even as in the base, this whole bit from the flatter section up here has managed to achieve that in 20 minutes, which is quite a feat. So looking at that fourth to sixth again, just thinking Johnny Simpkins again, he may have to race these, because again, where he positions could potentially as well be a factor in the Army and how they race and that. As we're just watching Ed crossing the line there for a dominant ride up that climb. Well done to Ed. But it's definitely something to be looking out for sure with this this trio of riders.
Yeah, Mike's still sitting comfortably with a 25-second gap over Somerville. I think these are going to probably be the podium
for sure.
Because I think even with this last section, it's going to be tough to kind of claw anything back. But if you look as Mike's going through, or as any of the riders come through, there's a little kind of display on your right hand side, and it won't show it unless it's it'll show it to the individual, but that's where your new FTP will pop up if you end up getting one.
So Johnny has just put in a bit of a dig, and is trying to spread the gap. Maybe he is watching, for and listening to what I was saying. Congratulations there from Mike to Ed. But yeah, it looks like Johnny has now just pushed 4 or 5 seconds.
Broke away. Yeah, good 5-second gap there, and there's no reaction from behind, so it looks like he can probably ease off and make sure he gets across the line.
And T Scorer, who wasn't part of this group initially, has managed to actually catch up with Beauchamp and Moss, and actually is coming through for the Royal Navy to finish in 5th. So he came from nowhere as well, and has managed to claw back some good distance over that climb. So let's see who else. Let's see, George Jones still in 11th. We've got Waystall, Stewart, Johnston coming through on the 8th spot there for the Royal Navy. Let's say Waystall there. And actually George has got Robinson from the RAF closing in on him as well. So again, this could be a decisive moment as well for the individual competition, depending on how everyone scored up ahead. But you know, this could be a deciding factor. 7-6. Robinson's really dropped the hammer there. He's really dropped the hammer and has managed to
No
cross.
reaction by George, unfortunately.
No, George, there's no reaction there from George. For the Army, let's hope that wasn't the decisive factor there. But we'll see. We'll see how they fare. So yeah, once we'll see. We can only see. But there are Blizzard there coming up through. I think he's part of the Army development team. I believe. But he's coming through 13th.
Yeah.
Ben Jones, I know he's the service secretary for the RAF, coming through 14th. We just switch over. We've got a little bit of a competition here between Harry Nansen and is that Breaks, yeah. So let's see what these two decide to do.
Yeah, it's whether Harry kind of sits on his wheel, or it looks like there's a bit of an attack there. It looks like he's going to get away, doesn't it?
Agreed. 2 seconds now. Yep. Indeed.
And then there's it seems to be another pack coming in. Mike Latchin.
Yeah, just grabbed them. Yeah, I've actually seen them as well. Hiding all sorts of riders down there. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. They're just cutting through now. Mike seems to have got the measure of Cummins, maybe. He's slowing down. Through the line, yeah. Okay, good. Cool. Good ride in there from everyone. Yeah, let's see what I can bring up on if there's anything coming through provisionally. On the results. Nothing currently at the moment. Live though. So yeah, live wise then we'll go for the top 10 currently. So we've got Ed, Army Cycling, Mike for Army, Rich Somerville for RAF, Johnny Simpkins from Army, Tom Scorer from the Navy, Matt Beauchamp from the RAF, Barry Moss from the Navy, Kieran Johnson Navy, George Weastel from the RAF, Ben Stewart, possibly Navy, he's got no affiliation next to him, Craig Robinson from the RAF, George Jones there in 12th for the Army, and Richard Blizzard there as well for the Army in 13th. So yeah, potentially the actual Navy could have done the Army a favour by loading some of their riders in front of some of their places. So we'll see once we're able to process the results and everything to see how that pans out. Thank you, Johnny. Well done, Army team. Yeah, really strong ride. Really good close competition, though. It definitely wasn't. I don't think it was an event where the Army could just sit back and watch. They definitely had to do something, and they did. That second race, I believe, was a demonstration of that, where the two riders of Ed and Johnny having a little attack over the breakaway, and then Mike just allowing the rest of the group to chase on to then slingshot over Ben's RAF. Okay, Ben Stewart. Okay, cheers. Sorry, Ben. Your RAF. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I just looked on Zwift Power, and he's rode for the RAF before.
Okay. So yeah, and yeah, so it was definitely not it was all to play for, really. Even going into that third race, it was definitely not a guaranteed who was going to win this one in the at all. And again, this is all provisional. Where obviously there's a few little hoops that we need to jump through, just to make sure just rider validity and stuff like that. Just making sure that everyone is being honest and stuff. Not saying that we're questioning anyone's integrity, but it's just part of the things that we need to do to make sure the integrity of the event is true. So once we have all that through and we're happy with all the data and the metrics and that, we should be able to get a result out to everyone, hopefully by the end of the week, just all depending on a few kind of just feedback and stuff and we get. So yeah, all in all, a really good race. Unfortunately, I'm still refreshing Zwift Power, and I have got 13 riders through. So let's do that. Let's try and run this script now and see what we can do. So just everyone bear with me. Obviously, Ray, if you by all means want to add anything while I'm just clicking away, that'd be wonderful. Where are we? Where's my admin?
Yeah, I'll jump in. Yeah, so I think it's kind of important to finish on this, isn't it? Because the outdoor season's about to start.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of riders will be hanging up their Zwifting for the winter, and I know the Army Road Race Series starts in April. So with the Spring Cup, so a lot of these riders that are riding in here will probably be riding in that. And let's hope the Zwifting over the winter has carried over some kind of good fitness.
Yeah,
I'm just watching Craig Scott now, or Mike Latchin, descend down the grade, which is probably a lot better than ascending it.
100%, yeah, and you get a few extra drops for their virtual wardrobe.
Yeah, so no doubt, yeah, a few extra kilometers for the bike upgrades, isn't it? And I think actually, if Mike carries on there, he might end up going round to the sprint that's round the corner, which I think is part of the big spin.
He's probably thinking, "I'll just get the badge for the course and finish it."
Yeah. There's been a lot of Zwift farming going on lately, with a lot of people riding the segments that give you the free stuff. So it'd be interesting to see if he goes through one of them and if it pops up on screen.
Okay, right. I have got some standings in place. So let me just send that all over and we can just quickly discuss what we've got on screen. Push send to public. So we do have some stuff through. We've only got the 13 riders and that, so there potentially could be some chopping and changing once Zwift catches up. But we will refresh this now and hopefully let me just do that again. Refresh current page. Okay, and then individual. Okay, so ignore the fact that it says, oh no, we've updated. Good. Yeah, so Ed tied on points with Mike. However, obviously, again, all provisional, but it will look like that Ed has won the individual competition, with Mike Goff in second and Richard Somerville in third. Johnny Simpkins in fourth for the Army. Barry Moss for the Navy in fifth. George Westall, for the RAF in sixth. Craig Robinson for the RAF in 7th, Matthew Beauchamps for the RAF in 8th, George Jones for the Army in 9th, and Kieran Johnston for the Navy in 10th. How that looks then for the service competition then. Army with 323, RAF with 298, and the Navy with 207. Again, it looks like from what I can see, the Navy is still scored low, so that Navy score will probably change once, like I said, Swift Power catches up with itself and gives us the full results. But so you can imagine that there will be a few more scores to add to the Navy score anyway. So, but yeah, I think though that will call it there for the series or for the championship. Well done to all the riders that raced tonight and took part, representing the Army, Navy, and RAF for this championship. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it, in quotes. And yeah, thank you. Anything you would like to close on, Ray?
No, they've just been a phenomenal indoor season this year, hasn't it? So it's great to finish on a high for the Army, hopefully.
Yeah, agreed. Well, agreed for the Army's perspective. Yeah, I don't want to be biased, but yeah, it's hard not to be sometimes. So yeah, so thank you again, everyone, for watching. If you're watching live, thank you. Thank you for commenting in the stream. For anyone that's watching back, thank you as well. And yeah, there will be some stuff that I am planning for the off season for those that are still riding. Announcements should be coming out in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. And yeah, I think that's all from me. So that's a good night from me, Ray.
Good night from me.
And yeah, ride on.